4, 3, 2. Welcome to another exciting episode of Master Not. What are wonderful heroes? Wilda, the water being.
Drip, drip.
Spencer, the super cat.
Knowledge is not what brings us together today.
Jace, the technomancer.
Things are gonna get messy. Family business.
And Transient, the matter manipulator.
Right. Are we gonna have Deadpool in this episode? Because I totally can't see that fourth wall break coming.
On a side note, we like to shout out to our fellow player, Anonymous Edward, who plays Dahlia, and congratulations on graduating today.
Yeah.
She will be back with us soon.
Hopefully, by next
Woo!
session. That being said, last time on Master Not, our heroes not only saved the lives, gotta rewrite that. Not only saved the lives of the factory workers inside the area, but they were able to prevent a fiery explosion through the use of Jace's belt by Wilda to take on the form of the living glacier. After preventing the processing plant from breaking down with a lot of ice, Mancy, they were able to escape into their getaway vehicle piloted by their AI driver, Mr. Smith. After emerging from the armor, Wilda appears to have a tough time recovering, and the wedding is only a couple hours away. Will they make it in time, and will Jace be able to find his parents there? Find out today. So once more, remind me, are you guys immediately heading back straight towards your guys' base of operations? Or are you following Spencer, who last I recalled said he was going back out to make sure nothing else was happening in town?
He's too fast for us to catch.
Yeah.
Also,
we'll get thrown around town.
I'm screaming.
Realistically, Jace would say head back to base, maybe take a circuitous route in case anybody follows us.
Watching Wilda scream. Maybe take care of that too.
We can take care of that back at base.
As you arrive to base, Wilda is still screaming the entire time, but thanks to the marvel of Mr. Smith, he's able to blast loud music of your guys' personal choice, circa 2020 or prior, in order to muffle her horrifying screams.
Hold on, you said 2020.
Sorry, 2002. Damn.
Okay.
That's about 18 years ahead of our time.
Yeah.
I distracted him with yet another post. Don't worry about it.
We have not had a Skynet moment yet.
Yeah.
The urge to jump forward in time keeps approaching.
Blasting music from 2020, everyone's like, what the fuck did Spencer do this time?
Yes.
What the fuck did Spencer do this time? Spencer's just looking at, where the heck am I? It's just Phyrexia.
Hopefully not.
Wait, can someone tell me why the last messages we have? Why are the last messages we have in our in between session write-up from April 3rd? Something wrong with my thing?
No, I'm trying to figure that out too because I don't recall.
We had things after that. I'm pretty sure.
I can see May 1st, but I don't see anything in April.
Got it. Spencer's used time power since then. It's not an issue. Don't
God
think
damn it,
about
Spence.
What did Spencer do this time? I skipped the month of April. How?
I don't like April Fools. Let's skip the month. What?
April showers bring May flowers, but I don't like rain very much.
Oh Lord! Quick shout out to Discord. Please stop randomly deleting text at just pure leisure. Please.
Yeah, because I
Please
know
keep
that
track of
we did it
shenanigans.
because I have stream archives from the 3rd and the 17th.
Is it just my laptop?
No. Like I'm only seeing all the way up till we will have dialogue from parents when called, as well as the foes against the morality brigade, which has been.
Yeah, it's all gone.
April's gone.
I
Great,
can't
we
stand
lost an
April.
entire month's worth of dialogue, and there was something I was supposed to do this session, and I don't remember what that is.
Spencer, erasing time. It's no longer a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and when is gone.
It's gone. Just like my mercy.
That said, if Wilda is still screaming when we get back to base, which it sounds like she is,
Yep.
Jace is going to go ahead and have the infirmary section of the base be prepping as they pull in.
Oh my god, I think I can make this fucking joke.
You see Stringent hold the gate open to the Chuck E. Cheese that you have been using against the base. The Charles E. Entertainment sign erodes and continues to look dialect and demanding of repentance as we continuously use it without paying
just-
the CM price.
I was gonna say, has Jace actually paid for the building?
Jace has bought this building. We've discussed this previously. He owns it.
Yes. I've not heard anything about repairing it, so we have continuously made it look derelict. You guys have
Well, yeah.
great improvement underneath.
If it's in operation, the odds of someone sneaking in here and going into the basement and being like, what the fuck, and us having to execute someone go up.
Yeah, we are not having a Final Fantasy VII moment here, no.
I was going to make the joke. It's not 2004 yet, but I'm still making the joke. My god, Wilda's heart is broken. Wake her up when September ends.
Oh my god.
Spencer,
You
stop
got no
deleting
applause for
entire
that, man.
archives.
Don't worry, the time jokes will continue and archives will be deleted.
The time jokes will continue until morale improves.
Yeah, but
The time beatings will continue until morale improves.
Oh, by the way, previous mention for our hashtags. Final hashtag is still fuck Jerry.
Yeah. After y'all found out that Jerry completely glanced over whether or not the fire suppression system was even working, much less even paying into it, much less even actually having it installed.
Now that Jerry is set for a life in solitary confinement because of OSHA violations, we can move on with our lives.
You did send those recordings, right? Mr. Smith heard
Yeah.
all of that.
Yes, all of it was sent. Every bit of it. OSHA will have blood for this.
I'm not quite sure you guys should be conferring with local authorities, but you know what? Hey, your life.
Listen,
Stringent.
Stringent, I need to explain this to you in the simplest terms possible, and I tell him all the shit Jerry did.
Stringent, you
good.
thought the military was bad? You should see what Jerry did.
Ah,
I bring
Yeah.
I bring the boys at the lab up to speed on Jerry's negligence and cruelty.
Daniel being one of sound mind and occasional rage goes.
I mean,
"Who
the
fuck
only
does
one
not
of
put
sound
fire-
mind?
Who the hell does not put up fire suppression system in a burning building? It's like having a dog and not putting it on a leash.
What's worse is he deliberately disengaged the fire alarms because they were too noisy.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah.
Good
So
time
how
beatings
many
will
years
continue
did he say?
until morale improves.
Given that there wasn't a fire suppression system installed in that building, period, probably from the beginning.
One more time.
I believe the exact quote was, "Given that there wasn't a fire suppression system to begin with, probably since the beginning."
Man, who hires a guy?
Looks at Jace.
I don't fucking know which one of them runs the mine. It's an oligarchy.
You have all the records for like the last 3 decades.
I'm gonna put a hand on his shoulder and say, how many records do you think Jerry actually kept?
None, but I'm relatively sure building codes. Never mind. Just realized what I was saying.
Jason's gonna nod at you and then continue to the infirmary with Screaming Wilda.
She's curled up into a ball.
The machines and operating systems are currently doing just a simple scanning over her body as you have it operating on standby mode.
Pain
Now, is
detected.
it on her or has the belt been removed at this point?
The belt has been removed. Once it deformed, it disconnected immediately, popping down on
Okay.
the ground before being picked up by, well, I'm gonna say Rockin' Prime.
I am
I'll go
going
pick
to
up this
examine the belt to figure out what the fuck just happened.
You gonna tinker around with the belts, or
Tinker with the belts.
all right? While you're tinkering with the belt, what is everyone else doing? Spencer, from what we discussed earlier, what were you going? You said you were going to see them, as in the tribe that's over on the outskirts, right?
Them who? Sorry.
Wait, when did we get a tribe in town?
Not in
Since
town.
DM told me it in DMs and didn't explain anything to you.
Yep. Random surprises. But since you are currently back at the base, if you haven't immediately gone to see, well, you'll see current signs of screens shifting from around the town of Pyrogol, showing similar things from what Spencer is seeing, even some things that Spencer is seeing from the unique camera that's designed on the tuxedo slash suit changing mechanism you are wearing, Spencer.
Why do I have the camera?
Everyone has cameras.
Oh,
You're a cat.
just
We have
more-
to figure out where you're at eventually.
it's just like those little cat collars that have cameras on them.
See,
Where has
what
Spencer been
Jace-
today?
What Jace does is he's got a camera that records at like super high frame rate, and then
Yep.
he will take that and slow it down by like 150% and review it and be like, okay, what did Spencer do today?
Okay, running. Okay, more running. Okay, he's in France. Okay.
Well, there isn't any more fires or any alarms going on. You do see signs of Class Act preparing for the events that are about to happen, having a series of construction vehicles around the outskirts, just finishing up certain cosmetic designs to the casino itself. There's also scenes of tribesmen gathering at the south end of Pyrogol. They seem to be preparing their own celebration of sorts. And then on Spencer's special camera, who seems to be able to have it directed towards the very edge of the area, you can see the deserts the desert towards Reno in the midday sun. And the tallest building of Reno is currently gleaming with the sunlight in it. That is what is currently being seen. So double checking with Spencer, where you said you were going to see them.
Yes, but question: does it look like it's gleaming off the tower, or does it look like it's a doomsday device collecting the sunshine?
It's just gleaming.
Okay, just making sure because the weatherman canonically has not been captured yet.
Man, I've been traumatized by being in Greg's campaigns because I immediately was like, oh man, yes, what a beautiful scenic vista. Can't wait for the nuke to drop.
That did happen.
Yeah.
Now that you're
Yeah,
finally getting some character resolution, nuclear explosion.
I do
Yeah.
that very often.
If I had a penny for every time you've broken a game with nuclear fire, I have at least 3 pennies.
Now that we're going to stop focusing on the Fallout event that I caused in 3 separate campaigns.
Yeah, so hashtag Gary rigged.
You're welcome. Anyways,
Are you
I'm heading to
referring?
the tribe.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Headed to the tribe.
You make your way towards the edge of south edge of town. The trying to remember the exact name of the tribe I've given this section.
Navajo, I believe, is what you said.
Was the Navajo?
We can check our DMs, and I can tell you for sure.
Keep swinging with not. Good. We will say Navajo for the time being until further correction, because time is wibbly wobbly. Timey wimey.
The time beatings will continue.
Right, just takes one more wrong head and then another shift, another
Okay.
change.
I'm
But
pinning
the
it
Navajo
to-
tribe on the distance,
Yeah.
do appear to be preparing to celebrate a personal day of theirs.
I am headed over there, like I said. Hold on a second.
As you approach the scenery, they have a few totems of their personal design set up around what seems to be a bonfire. Over near the distance from where they're at, you do see like short altars of their families. Short altars of the family. Sorry, short altars being made by the families of the tribe there, and they're slowly bringing gifts to it. Amongst it, you do see several pictures of a few of the previous tribes leaders that were on there that have led the tribes before. As you're flying down, coming down, you do see the familiar face of Brother Eagle look up. Oh,
Is that what he says?
I mean,
Take your time. Find your Indian accent. You don't have to make an accent, though. They don't really have one anymore. They have a language, but not really an accent anymore.
yeah, I'm not that cool enough to remember their whole language. As it would be.
Well, around this time, he probably would remember some of the things. He might have a slight accent, but just give your best shot.
Oh, Brother Spencer. Good to see you fly down. Oh, not used to it. Must be a sign from the ancestors. Good too.
Spencer's going to tuck away his wings, and I'm going to check what just happened outside. Give me half a second. Okay, we're good. But he's going to land down and tuck his wings away, and his bracelet will probably not go off because most of the time he doesn't recognize he needs to wear clothing.
All right. You're shown towards a couple of towards a table where a few other tribes folk are sitting around. One of the elderly ladies is currently passing out small bowls of homemade stew that they made.
All right.
Today is a celebration. One of the new tribe leaders has been elected. We're currently celebrating the ancestors and previous tribesmen's tribe leaders now. In honor.
He's going to sit down with everyone else if he's allowed to, and he's going to continue with, "Well, it's very good that they were elected." Let me think of how to continue this. So, why are you doing it outside of town now? Usually, you do it historically out of character. Have they done it around here or back at the reservation? Or would that be a check I wouldn't be able to make?
You don't need to make this check. You do recall sparsely that they've had a short discussion that this actually was their people's holy land, this particular edge of the map area,
Okay.
where it's not seen. Obviously, certain mounds and certain hillsides in that area, amongst the sand, amongst the dunes. There's like a very old tree with a few signs and a few trinkets hanging from there.
That's true. Go ahead.
Brother Eagle has pointed out over towards that area multiple times. This is the land that we have lost most of our families and most of our people to during most of our travels.
I'm assuming at least a few of them are buried there.
Yes.
And because I'm in my base form, do I happen to see any ghostly apparitions around us?
Not offhand if you're not paying attention, but as you start to like try to focus, you do see various apparitions of native tribes, not just Navajos, but I'm trying to recall what others would be more native in this side. I want to say
Maybe Algonquin. I could be wrong.
Navajo were mostly in central Midwest, so they traveled up through northern Mexico, through New Mexico, Colorado, a
Checking.
bit of Arizona, but not
Okay.
much.
There's the Washoe, there's Shoshone, there's Butte, there's a bunch of them.
Shoshone should probably be the closest one for the area
Yeah.
that we're looking at.
Western Shoshone is just like smack dab right there.
so yeah. Amongst the Navajo spirits, you do see Shoshone, Washone, mostly Shoshone, especially since they do seem to still emulate certain attacking acts. What you're able to gather just from looking is that this wasn't one of those peaceful holy grounds. This was a holy ground fought over on a consistent basis from different tribes over years, and even the spirits, while they'll still fight, it's only out of respect for the for what they fought for.
You know, that's a good question. Do I see animal spirits or shall we say spirits of the land here?
Perception check for that one.
Fair enough.
Does he see a giant flaming bird anywhere?
That's an important one, huh? I have to make a check on that one. Let's see here. Perception's a +3 in this form, so
Still trying to figure out what a Middle Eastern bird is doing on this side of the world.
that is a 16, boss man.
You don't see it immediately, but it as you're looking back, back towards the group, you catch it on the last look of what seems to be this semi-translucent deer that goes back amongst the dunes of the sands.
Question. is this deer on 2 feet?
No.
Because that would mean that it's not just a deer, but something really significant. Anyways. Point is, I see a deer off in the distance moving over the dune. I feel the urge to follow it, but at the same time, I know I have to stay. I should probably stay and catch up with the people who took me in for about a year.
They thank you for staying for stopping by and visiting. Pass you a bowl of food. You do hear some songs start being sung by them. You do see a few dances. Some prayers are being done by the local shaman. The shaman of the tribe there, the
It would
chief
be
overwatching.
yeah. At this point in these years, it wouldn't. Shaman is a term that you would still use, but at this particular point, it's more of a term collectively kind of relegated to someone who still carries on stories and tradition, but
I mean,
in
he's obviously a real proper doctor when you look at the
oh yeah,
medical bag he carries. I mean,
yeah, he'd probably be a physician.
2002, he is a legitimate doctor. Just
Yeah,
tradition.
he'd be a legitimate doctor. The point is that shaman is more of a, let's see here, honorific term, probably.
Yes.
He's probably like, "Hi, I'm Tim Barkinson, and I go to the and I work at the university, and I come here on occasion for family events."
I've been doing this event for at least 15 years. No one else knows how to do the dance of the wind feathers. That being said, if you ever feel like you need to sue somebody, just meet me at my firm.
Actually, one of the funniest things is I did some research on and in real life, I did research on Indians in Nevada, and I believe there actually is, not here, but somewhere else. There was a guy. Memory's hazy. Anyways, I basically described half the person I looked up. Anyways, in character, Spencer's going to continue to sit there and enjoy the stew, watch the dances, listen to the songs, and while the songs and dances are being danced and sung, does the overall environment change spiritually? Like, for example, do I notice animal spirits gathering around, maybe a difference in the wind, or maybe the trinkets start looking like they're coming alive slightly?
You notice that a lot of the spirits that were standing by the hills are now more joining with the dancing, syncing with the prayers. They're the ancestors are joining with the present in order to help this emotion that everyone else is feeling be settled. The fears
I,
and worries of a new future being assured by the past that this was meant to be.
I understand.
A few spirit birds do fly by. Do happen to see a couple of
Probably a few hawks, falcons.
yes, you do see one vulture swoop down, land, get pet, then fly back up. Spiritually, of course. Not a
Oh
real
yeah,
vulture.
I'm assuming some of the elders see some of this to a degree, but nothing to the same degree as Spencer seeing them physically come down.
Right?
It's probably part of the dance. To be fair, some of the movements might mimic petting to a degree, and they conveniently show up right then. Because let's be honest, this is probably a dance that's been done for hundreds of years.
Yes.
Either
You
way,
do see a couple of spirit hounds dance the same and dance around one of the dancers in sync, as though they've been doing it since they were growing as pups. You do see one deer bow at the same time another person bows during the dance. You see the spirits intermingle properly and impressively, sometimes acting as though there was other beings there, just not ones that can be seen, as though they're reenacting a past. I mean, it's a mixture of past acting and present interaction. As Brother Eagle continues on talking about, with this new leader, we hope to find new guidance
Who is
and
the new
hopes. Haven't researched his name yet.
We can just say Tim Barkinson. Doesn't really change much. We could literally make up any name and it would be the same thing. They're not. I hope I am not politically incorrect for saying this, but they really don't go out of their way to make their names flashy.
True.
Manuel Collins.
Manuel College.
Collins.
Thank you. Manuel Collins. Though he's more central raised.
I
Doesn't
understand.
interfere though.
Well,
Lots of people still thrive, and stories are still told. Will still exist.
1 second. I'm writing all this down.
No, I must ask, have you been noticing the tremors as well, Brother Spencer?
Yeah, I've been noticing a lot of tremors lately. And the weirdest thing is, whenever the tremors happen, things in the city start to go wrong. Or, well, shortly thereafter, a lot of criminal activity spikes, or sometimes giant monsters show up, and, well, I have to protect the city, but this one time, it doesn't matter.
It's no stress, Brother Spencer. The spirits have given you strength in ways that only regular humans and old bones like me can wish for. Does not mean we are without our ability to protect our own, but it's always nice to have someone like you watching over. That said, I do fear the worst. I don't think these tremors are going to remain in town.
If they get any stronger, what's going to happen to you guys?
Oh, we'll move on. Always different lands. Not unlike us to pull up and move. He says this with a sad smile. History's almost unexplained, but heavy can be seen in his eyes. You can get you get the emotional sense that he says those bittersweetly.
Well, this is your home, and even if you have to leave your home or the place you knew for a while, my dad always says that home isn't really a place, it's the people you bring with you and the memories you share.
Oh, forgot you rekindled with your family. Hope that's been going well.
It's been going. Just flashback to, I would imagine a jump cut to the Thrussell household at this particular moment.
Are we talking about the time there was an attack by a flaming monster beast? A time that that someone alchemized the Dorgon?
Yeah, it's just all of those one by one, just like, and then just like, it's been going.
May I suggest the time 3 hookers showed up?
The time 3 hookers showed up. Just Spencer's just like not saying anything. Just these are flashing on the screen, and it just kind of pauses like a camcorder or like a video recorder, and then it swipes back to what Spencer's sitting at. He's like, it's been going okay, but he's going to look at the 15 probably not notifications, but 15 buzzes he's been getting on his wristband but not noticed. Oh, I do have to get going.
Well, do take care, Brother Spencer. I do want you to be wary. May the may the light of the Firebird guide you.
Thank you very much. And he's going to slowly walk out of there so he doesn't disturb anything. And once he's far enough away, he will pick up speed and fly back to the base.
Your your fly back to the base is uneventful. Don't see anything else happening aside from the lights from the casino area, the entertainment area starting to get brighter and brighter. You do see more vehicles start to pour in as time approaches for the wedding. Meanwhile, at the base.
Yes, the base.
The base. The base.
Jace, you are currently double checking your belt for for the irregularities that seem to be popping up with each use. Go ahead and give me a technology check 3 times.
Okay. So R1D20 plus 18 space dash RR3.
Yes.
Probably. That might work.
Let's try the fancy dash, because I think that's the right one. It's not the fancy dash, damn it.
No, it's the regular dash.
Yeah, it's not a tilde. It's a dash.
Nope.
Well, that is unfortunate. So
That was a
22.
22, 31,
I'm
and
gonna use a Benny on
that.
Gonna use a Benny on that one. Benny -1. I'd rather not natural 1 while holding this belt.
Good choice.
Won't argue that.
Your legs evolve backwards.
Okay, so 22, 31, 34.
Okay.
I would like to flavor the first one as being like, all right, let's take a look at this belt, and then I take like 5 minutes to clean the blood off the injector, so there's no risk of contamination.
As I was explaining, the needle of the injector does have like a multitude, have an easy ejection, ejector, so you're able to eject the needle and able to put in a new needle. The main syringe, there's like several syringes on the side of the belts. One does seem to have a unique symbol to show that it's have been used. 2. The one that in your hand now has a unique symbol thanks to Wilda's use. The other couple of syringes on the side are still symbolless.
So there's a symbol for transient, a symbol for Wilda, and 3 things with no symbols.
Yes.
Okay.
Plus however many you have in the side stock, but that's neither here nor there.
I guess what I would do then is I would run a quick diagnostic on the belt and then run diagnostics on the injector from Wilda's.
Look, with the 22 that you got from the first roll, your initial system diagnostic shows proper, no initial issue. Shows that shows proper syncing, proper extraction, analysis, data retracing, DNA rescanning. All seems to be showing fine. Then you get to the return parts, and that's where your 31 kicks in. You notice that there is a series of sequences that seem to be hard placed as you were editing it, like more of a linchpin that holds most of the data together in a proper sequence that doesn't cause itself to rewrite or cause an error in user in being used. The linchpin seemingly is an extra surge that courses through the body, like how you would have say like a person grabs two ends of an electrified cable and aren't properly grounded. That current that gets connected going through them is what your system is initially doing, just not on a immediate well, I mean, yes, on an almost immediate kill basis, as you can see with what's happening with Wilda.
Ace, this is such a fucked response, but I imagine Jace looking at this like, man, I'm not understanding what's happening. I don't understand why this caused such a big issue. And then he's like, oh, right, the arc would go down the legs. No wonder I didn't notice.
I,
That is how
Yeah.
the electricity would go on that analogy. It would go to the ground through the quickest way, and Jace wouldn't notice.
yeah. Upon realizing that there is no proper grounding, as you review everything once more, you're able to pick up with your 34 a series of unfortunate recurrences that will continuously occur with the belt's use. And as far as you can determine, there is no real way to fix this without breaking the entire thing completely, at the risk of not being able to re-put it back together.
So what you're saying is that using the belt triggers this linchpin, which sets off an electrical current, which can course through the body and cause problems. Yes.
Yes.
And it doesn't have proper grounding, and I can't functionally get rid of it, and I can't functionally get rid of it, and I can't functionally reprogram the belt so that it wouldn't be an issue.
No, but what you can assess is that maybe by adding something else to it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking of having a. I think what Jace would do in this situation, and I'm sure this probably would have come up at some point eventually, is he's going to realize that the longer the belt is used, the more likely these recurrent charges are going to build up and cause issues like what Wild is experiencing. So what he would probably do is he would probably install what is effectively sort of a battery compartment in one of the parts of the belt that is not being used by an injector. And he'd try and set it up so that when the belt's in use, after a certain period of time, for the most part, those electrical surges will be drawn into the empty battery. But once the battery reaches capacity, that will activate and immediately deactivate the belt so that it can't continue to go past that point and risk overloading the person. Basically a kill switch so that you don't end up like this.
I like.
It also conveniently lets you put a timer on the bullshit POR12.
It does. Through a series of unseen checks. But yeah, go ahead and make 2 technology checks in trying to devise that subsidiary device. As we flicker over towards Wilda.
One.
God damn. As we flicker over towards Wilda and Edward. Wilda, you're hearing the beeping around you seem to finally stop as a loud ringing can be heard as the system kicks on starts doing a more active attempt to check you.
It hurts. It hurts. It hurts.
Go ahead and give me another toughness check as one of the machines attempts to administer a painkiller into your system through the arm. and get stabbed.
Oh, nope. I have a bruise, so it's +3. 17.
It pinches, but you don't take any for the bruising. It missed the real sore area. Go ahead and give me a fortitude check with a +5.
$12.
Even with a +5.
I'm not betting it. This is funny.
While I'm trying to anticipate, knowing that that you're on a medical table, knowing that it's going to be a decent localizer to help relax your body for the further uh, investigation, the further scanning that needs to do, some more weird feeling ones. This one, with this failure that you had, you immediately relax. Not in the like uncomfortable, I've gone stiff relax, but like everything is slowing down. You've grown comfortable in your numbness. Edward's face looks so much more brighter now. You're still on the table. There's the pain isn't as obvious.
Well, as the drug courses through me, I'll reach up and Edward would notice that my hand is wet. Not sweaty wet, but the same wetness as I have in my water form.
Edward, as she reaches your face and cups it, you feel her hand mold more than it should around your face. Uh, Definitely wet. You can't tell where the moisture is coming from since you try to dry her constantly. Uh, the other hand that you're holding is not as wet, but you can tell there is a constant dripping through your palms as you're holding it, as you're holding her hand. But when you look down, there isn't a puddle that's collecting. If that makes sense.
So she's effectively just circulating water.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
He's not been trying to dry her.
Okay.
Wet is generally good when it comes to Welda. So, yeah, no, he's just going to clutch her hand and just hold on.
The systems were and start to go around her as the machine starts humming for a heavier, deeper scan. Will it you do feel unique vibrations that had you not been hit with the painkiller could be much more uncomfortable for your current state. But you're just now feeling a unique vibe, a unique vibration, a unique sensation coursing through you, thanks to the local anesthetic.
Wouldn't exactly be local, it's just an anesthetic.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
General anesthetic.
Yeah.
Edward, as you're watching this occur, you're able to see some of the systems already pulling up screens reading hydrosis, body sweat overacting, body fluids at unique variations. Body water ratio has tipped over to 73%. Anyone correct me where I'm wrong on regular body percentage of water? Because I swear we're at least
average-
2/3 body.
Average water, for the time, the science stated it to be about 67%. Current science states it to be around 80%. So you're free to fluctuate as you wish in that.
Lovely. So for now. We'll still keep the 73% water soluble body ratio. Definitely much more much more different than the previous scan that you all went through when initially setting up the medical system inside the base. Green does flicker through, shows that a couple of the bones during the X-rays have gone translucent and some don't even show up. Like her shins are no longer showing up in the X-ray, but she is still able to have like a solid shin feel. The system is still worrying as it's still scanning. You're more than welcome to try to talk to Wilda. In the next couple of seconds, though, you do hear the sudden opening of doors and the rattling, and the pizza dispenser offering a pizza to Spencer as he returns inside.
Jace, when did we get a pizza dispenser?
How do you think I keep Spencer fed when he's down here?
Point.
I like the idea that Spencer's eating it. Just rolled the pizza up into like a cigar shape, and he's just taking bites out of it. He walks in, he goes, "Oh my gosh, Wilda!" and immediately runs to her side.
Hey, don't waste that. Daniel catches a half-eaten cigar pizza.
Listen, he is not discarding that pizza, but he is worried about Wilda.
Tosses it midair. Hey, don't waste it. Immediately catches it back in midair. Thanks for the reminder.
Don't waste it, catches it. Oh, thanks.
I love the idea of the Looney Tunes, like, takes off running, pizza is left hanging in the air. Hey, don't waste that. Comes back, takes a comical bite, eats the rest of the pizza in one go, runs back to Wilda's side.
I'm gonna see if I can get me a pizza too. Access denied. Why is it only Spencer? Spencer,
We have
as you
one-
do. Oh, go ahead.
A regular food replicator for everyone else. The pizza dispensary is purely for Spencer because he's Spencer.
Spencer's on that high carb diet.
Daniel sighs, not being able to find a flaw in that logic.
Hi,
You're-
Spencer.
You're all wiggly and like Jello. He's like flopping her hand around. Look.
Oh.
As you wiggle the arms, a couple of drops from her attempt to splash out. From your highly sensitive cat eyes, you're able to see the drops hit the ground, and then immediately go to the closest source of Wilda there is, which would be your legs.
He's not going to jump because he knows he doesn't see it as water, but he does kind of shake his leg slightly. However, wow, I didn't know you could be I didn't know you could be like Jello. Usually it's water or it's Wilda. So I guess you're a combination. A Wada.
It still kind of hurts, Spencer.
Well, I'm sorry. I wish I could take the pain away for you. He's gonna think really hard, and then he's gonna look to Jace. Have you given her like Tylenol yet?
We've done better than Tylenol. Don't worry about it.
Jace
Better than
eyeballing
Tylenol.
them.
You mean like a root beer float?
Sure, Spencer.
It's some type of concoction like that. As he looks at the morphine drip effectively.
I didn't know you can make liquid root beer float.
Spencer would notice the crack is bigger.
Which crack where?
Hold on. I'll DM it. Because the others don't know about it.
Nope.
Should be sent.
Uh, as Spencer and Will have their short interactions, and Jace is still eyeballing his belt, coming up with an emergency ejection system using an empty battery cartridge. Transit, you're able to see some of the pictures, some of the screens start showing more defined um, findings, finding that water the plasma consistency in her body seems to be off, showing more water, showing a slight dis not disability, but
Dispersion.
yes.
The cell membranes in her body are breaking down and slowly becoming one cohesive giant cell.
Yes, but at the same time, they're still showing like that they're still the arteries are still remaining separate, even though the actual artery wall is not a wall anymore, but just a liquid density thicker than the rest of the other area surrounding flesh.
Okay.
There is signs that there is up towards her torso and neck area, things are normal for the most part. It isn't as as like broken down. So her core is like more stable, but around her limbs, even her hair is showing signs of dripping and returning as the dead cells that would normally show up seem to be moving in a fluid manner.
Yes. All Spencer sees is, my God, she's becoming more liquid. And Spencer's going to keep that second part a little private that you sent me, but he is, on the contrary, going to just kind of stare at that for a little bit, and then look at Wilda and go, your crack is bigger.
Spencer!
No. No, I mean, like where her heart is, there's a big crack and it's getting bigger.
I'm gonna see myself out, gentlemen. You guys have fun talking about this. As Daniel steps out the door and proceeds to close behind him.
Just, wow, your crack is bigger. Spencer, that's not what I meant. You know it.
Jace in the background puts on headphones and continues working on the new edition of the belt.
Base Jace is based.
Oh boy. There's not a lot I can do to repair this.
Spencer's gonna look down. DM, I have the most horrible idea ever, but it is something Spencer would try.
Explain.
You see, Spencer sees that there is a crack on her heart, specifically her soul. So, above board, Spencer is thinking about trying to repair that crack. So, in that sense, DM, question for you.
Possible answer. You might not like it.
What role would it be to try and see how he could possibly heal her heart? I believe this would be either supernatural or it could just be a straight D20. Your choice.
We'll leave it as expertise supernatural. I'll leave that for your benefit. Go ahead and roll that.
Aye, aye,
Just
Captain.
Just know you might not like the answer you get.
Yes, I understand this. However, Spencer does not quite yet, so don't hatch your eggs before they hatch. Wait.
Give me the eggs, buddy. Give me the eggs.
Okay, it's gonna be a +5. That is an 18.
All right, high enough for you to actually know this. Mostly from your time of spending with the tribesmen outside, the Navajo tribesmen and the Shahoney tribesmen that more or less take up the north side of Paragal. You've come to an understanding that most of what heals the soul is not ambient and will require more vocalized synergy, more of a different healing aura. Unfortunately for you, as what you can tell, while you can probably touch her soul in some way, shape, or form, it would not be the same as what you've seen. As whenever you go and reach out, you do see more of your spiritual claws coming out with it. And that makes you more worried that clawing at her soul probably won't be a good idea. But the idea of maybe taking her to see some of these tribesmen, some of these soul menders, some of these spirit doctors on either side of Paragal might be a possible help with this unique issue. You can bring that up with the group.
That's a great idea, DM. And if I were more charismatic, well, I actually do have a +1 point in the stat, so let me give this a whirl.
That's more than most of us.
It's a lot more than most of you. Hey, transient. Sorry, Ed.
What's up?
So, do you see the crack in her soul?
Jim, am I able to perceive it?
Not without touching. Let me double check your powers real quick, because
I'm holding her hand.
I am holding her hand too. I would like to try and extend that sort of perception to him.
Because I have not stopped holding her hand since we entered into effectively our ICU.
Yeah.
I could be
Alright.
wrong, but I think I have the communicate spirits as a medium, which means that I can relay it. Let me check my powers really quick. I think I might have this.
Double checking. I'm not seeing
Yes.
communication.
I do. A communication or comprehend spirits medium. You can function as a medium, relaying what you see and hear from talking to the spirit world. I
Which
can
form
relay
is
it.
this?
This is my base form. It's part of me looking like a cat.
Part of him being a cat is cats, stare at things in the wall and attack them.
Yep, there it is. Found it. All right. So at first, you don't see the crack initially, Trendy. You see her soul, and it's radiant, and to your eyes and perception, it's her natural beauty. But as you get slowly, as Spencer starts somehow turning the soul in as he speaks and trying to show you where the crack is, you're in a few seconds of observing, you're able to actually see this crack that they're speaking of. That seems to be going, in a weird fish hook pattern on her soul.
I would like to describe how Spencer does this. Spencer's
it.
going to, as he doesn't rotate Wilda's body, he's going to. There's a sort of radiance that you start seeing. It's like seeing the stars in the night sky. And when someone traces out the pattern of what a constellation is to you, you can make it out. It's kind of like that. And when he traces out the kind of fissure in her soul on her physical body, there is a bit of pain for Wilda because he is quite literally touching the fault line in her soul. But it does glow slightly, like a vein that's carrying something new across her skin.
She would scream once you touch it.
Yeah, it's very fair. And Spencer goes,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch that anymore, but you see it, right?
Hey, what's going on in here? Des pops into the door.
Giant fish hook on her body. There's
a death there coming from death.
Wilda's soul cracked. We're fixing it.
The stare intensifies.
I have a solution, and I know people who can help, and it doesn't cost money.
I have a plan, Arthur.
I have a plan, Arthur. Listen, Des, I have a plan.
How are you seeing my sister's soul? Why is there a crack there? Why?
I've always been able to see people's souls. Maybe I should have explained that. Getting around that, she has a crack in her soul. She's had it for a while, but when she ever experiences a lot of stress, and most people, usually it's just a small crack, but for her, it's a lot bigger. And he's not going to trace it out again, but he's going to point it out to Des as he comes closer. It's along here, radiating towards her spine and towards her left arm. It looks kind of like a fish hook, but from go ahead.
That sounds like you're suggesting that she has a bone fissure along her rib cage going down the sternum, and that's when he starts attempting to do physical touching and realizes, oh God, you're not keeping form. That's strongly.
Yeah, the thing is, it's not her physical body, but it is her soul. And when you touch someone's soul, it's like, you know what happens when your arm falls asleep and it kind of feels tingly?
Are you suggesting that when you touch her, she turns staticky? I can't see the soul. I don't touch the soul. I see you just
grab Des's hand, hold it in mine, holding Wilda's hand, start explaining it to him. He starts seeing it.
Give me try to communicate that with I will give it to you with a supernatural roll. Go for it.
Okay.
It happened when I stopped Tyrone in the sky.
That is a 22, DM.
He seems to be coming around towards the concept of seeing a soul, but he understands how you're showing him Puddle's soul. He's only taking it as your ability to show someone's soul, which he leaves questionable. But he's starting to pick up on your concept and understands that she's hurting. There is a weird gash in her soul. And he looks over at you. That's Graynall, but I can only suit your flesh and bone.
I understand, but I have friends who can help. They're the local Indian tribe on the reserve to the south. Before I came back and started living with you guys, they took me in for about a year, and they kind of treated me as their own, and I made a lot of friends, but they also taught me about some spiritual practices. And a lot of things we've been seeing recently have been reminding me of them. But this is the closest thing to anything physical, other than, the giant rat earlier. I don't want to talk about that. It kind of hurt. Anyways, when you touch the soul, you can feel it in your body. It's like pins and needles, but when it cracks like this, it either means that she's withstood great stress or that she's put a burden on herself that no one else should. Kind of like when you decided to take all the brunt for the family drama, or when Ed decided to start dating Wilda and his mom didn't like it.
As you attempt to continue, you feel hands on your cheek and then a pinch as Des just gives that wonderful cat squish on your face before saying, "Please, please stop." All right, I will let you take her to go see somebody to help. Please make sure she sees the help she needs. Also, does that mean we're not going to the wedding?
No, it means we're going to the wedding. It's not something that can't be fixed, but there's. Have you ever tried to fix a car?
There's subtle laughter coming from the other side of the door.
I'm assuming it's stringent, and he just stares daggers into him.
Not stringent, but Daniel. Daniel is
Oh, yeah.
certainly laughing.
I'm not staring daggers at him, but I'm imagining Dez is.
I would like to imagine that when you ask, have you ever tried to fix a car? Ace, with his headphones still on, will briefly raise his hand before continue working.
Wow, he has good hearing.
That's because he's not actually listening to any music.
Wow. He's really good at reading a room. He should really express that more often. Most of the time, he's confused about what people are talking about.
Ace will very loudly say no and then continue working.
Listen,
but
We
just
to continue,
we have to go to the wedding. Jace needs to go to the wedding.
we do. But just like fixing a car, if you just patch it up, it's going to spring up somewhere else. Or worse, the patch is going to fade first and the crack will get worse. But he's going to look at the closest digital clock because I guarantee you he could read a clock, but it'd take about half a minute.
you look towards the nearest digital clock, but get distracted by the nearest Mickey Mouse dance toy that happens to be on the side there.
DM is pulling me out of the situation for 5 seconds. Go ahead, guys.
I'm going with her.
He's going to look at Dez.
All right. Like I said, we will. How quickly do you think this can be done?
How much longer do we have until the wedding?
You are currently sitting at 2.5 hours before you guys should
Really?
be there.
We should have closer to 6 at this point. It should not have even hit noon yet, Mayor.
What?
This is true.
No, see, what the DM didn't tell us is that we lost several hours trying to navigate through the middle of Pyrogol on the day of one of the largest weddings in the city's history.
We would have gone through the outskirts or over the roads. We're in a freaking Humvee.
We have to go into the heart of the entertainment sector to get to base is the problem.
Yeah, and the wedding is being held on the outskirts at one of the largest casinos.
Is it casino in the entertainment district?
Not this
Yes.
one.
Okay. So the casino is in the entertainment district, but the base is in the industrial sector,
Okay.
more towards the food section area. So I will yield. All right. It is currently 6.5 hours until wedding time.
Yeah, because you had you had Spencer deal with the giant rat, and you had us deal with the chemical lab from 8 a.m. to about 11.
Yes, so 6.5 hours until wedding time.
Yeah.
It should be good by then.
All right. Where exactly are you heading to? Maybe I can drive up there.
About that. Spencer explains that it's out of town to the south on the Indian reservation. Let's get it off.
The Navajo tribe, right?
For Sony, but yeah.
Right. Always mixing people up. That says emulating my mirrored response of I'm terrible at telling people apart.
No, you're good. It was in character for me to be eating a pizza pocket.
A pizza roll, thank you very much.
Pizza roll.
Rolled pizza.
Pizza roll. Rolled pizza. The taco from Taco Town.
Why's it gotta be Taco Town? Why gotta be Taco City?
Jace, how long on that belt of yours?
Jace will raise a hand, just with a finger up, and then he will spin around in his chair and hold it up. I'm done.
Yep. There is it's not as unsightly as you would expect it to be for an extra battery pack just situated on the
I mean,
left kidney side.
the trick is, DM, that outside of the mechanism that does the injecting on the front, it's basically the fucking utility belt that Batman has. So it's just like an extra square on the back.
I like.
Yeah, Jace, the belt looks exactly the same. No, it's not. But nothing's changed. I don't think you're looking at it close enough. It's exactly the puts belt on them.
That's a good point. Who do you put the belt on?
I'm gonna roll a D2 because I'm set between two people, and Transian is not one of them, and Wilda is not one of them.
Oh no. Jace.
I give the belt to Des.
Oh.
Uh,
I want to look like Batman. Anyways. Oh, wait. I can't say his name on here because we're technically not trademarked yet. I want to be trademark character.
listen,
I want to look like default superhero who acts in New York.
Pretty much.
good happens.
Oh,
Des looks over and picks up the belt. You asked me to, like, try this on or just hold on to it.
I was gonna ask if you could briefly activate it and see how it works out. It shouldn't be pulling the energy into the back portion of it so that this doesn't happen again. He gestures to Wilda. However, I can understand that at the moment that may not be something you want to do.
Yeah. I'll probably try it out later. We'll see what happens. But for now, go ahead and take Wilda. You guys stay safe. The family's already getting a bit on edge, making sure everyone's all proper. They kind of want to start doing pictures. I'm doing what I'll be going back home to distract them. I'll let them know that you guys are taking care of a few things.
I may take care of that front regarding transients folks. I've been staying with them, and I'm not exactly helpful when it comes to spiritual stuff.
Yeah, in truth, neither am I. But I trust Spencer. And if Ed's gonna stick close to her, then at least know she's protected. Besides, she's Yeah, my little sister's tough. I mean, have you seen how she handles certain enemies? I mean, if I recall, she held up a cliff all on her own. She's tough. So you guys be safe, okay? And see you when we get back. Make sure to be dressed nice. Don't forget, we're taking pictures before the wedding.
Yeah, okay. Spencer's trying to pick her up.
Well, that you are still conscious. You have not been. You have not got conked out, but you are loopy enough to know that. Hey, pictures before the wedding means mom's gonna be in a special dress. Mom's always pretty in a special dress, and dad's gonna be in a super nice tux. He's finally gonna be dressing nice outside of his work.
They'll be good Christmas pictures.
Exactly, perfect. Yeah, Christmas, right? What aesthetics did you use?
You know, the general morphine.
We got to be careful about that.
You said it was root beer float.
I said it was like root beer float.
And just about as addictive. We cannot let that be used again.
Beer float's good.
I'm sure. Yes, root beer floats are good, sis. Just be careful. All right, Bridget, give me for a second. I get a question about what you're using in here. He goes outside the door, and you hear slight bickering as the door remains open for a quick second. What? All I did was put in the good stuff. My arm. As the door closes.
The
Oh,
doctor
given
is
I'm
here and he's mad.
Given I'm the one that made the stuff that we gave her in accordance to her body weight and such. What? I thought the chemical composition was perfect for it. I even made it non-addictive.
Out of character. In character, Spencer's like, yeah, that should work. Anyways, let's move Wilda.
Well, no. The reason why it's addictive is because certain chemical compositions meeting in the brain. That's why it becomes addictive. This doesn't have that effect.
Spencer's staring at you and nodding while picking up Wilda.
I guess I'm playing Cape today. As he will wrap his arms around Spencer's neck.
Oh, I get it. Cape. That's a good joke. You should do more of those, Ed. You never make jokes.
So, Jace, are you staying at the base or are you going with them?
I'm staying at the base. Somebody needs to be here for whenever, inevitably, like, I don't know, a fucking giant dog or rat or, I don't know, a giant flaming bird appears in the center of town, and I gotta tell them because they're all off in the middle of nowhere.
All right.
The Spencer Express continues.
As he calls Transient's parents, telling them that everything's fine.
Everything's
Yeah.
fine. Nothing's wrong. Transient flashes by at like 100 miles an hour.
Everything's going all right. Ed's having a little trouble with his suit. He's worried about getting the carnations right.
Ah, well, I told him to stop by with us. We have plenty of flowers. Honey, he's a grown boy. He wants to trust his friends. We did the same thing. Yes, and what happened? I blew up the school. We wouldn't go back to that.
Oh yeah.
I've only blown up half the school at this point. I don't want to hear it.
That's an improvement for the family.
And I also wasn't in my right mind at the time, so...
Yeah, he was a cat.
Double win.
I like to imagine that all of this is being said in the background while Jace is on the phone with his with Transient's parents. Like,
And Jace is just like waving them off.
point is, we'll be all set and prepared when it's time for the wedding. Don't worry about a thing.
Spencer Express leaves the station.
Sounds of girders dropping to the ground as the roof is destroyed for the umpteenth time.
Rockin' Jace, just without even getting off the phone, does a hand motion as Rockin' Prime comes in and immediately starts repairing it.
Jace, what was that? It sounded like someone blew through the roof again.
Hang on a second. I think the base actually has self-repair. Jace might have prepared for this.
Small versions of Walking Prime.
Between
Orange walks over to one computer, presses one button. The arms start busting out of the roof and start repairing the start patching up the hole that was recently made by the Spencer Express station.
It zooms out, and there's just like 15 other holes.
A digitized cue card pops up in your vision, Jace, as a reminder. Add skylights. It's flashing.
It's just like add skylights.
Due
I
date,
would like to
3
point
weeks
out
ago.
we have Superman Light, and then we have Transient, the matter manipulator. Of course, the base has to have self repair.
Jace has made the appropriate preparations for all of the fuck shit this party gets up to.
She's like, okay, bring her down steady, slams to the roof, and okay. I am flying, absolutely. And I am flying them, more specifically, to the same place I was just at, which was not
Alright,
the Indian reservation.
as you're flying with more bodies on person, I will need an acrobatics check for flying through.
An acrobatics check for flying.
As transients
Mostly
just beaten with wings.
Yes, this is true.
Mostly to not
But
lose transient or puddle.
I am not losing transient or puddle. I can carry both of them on each arm. I have strength 7 in this form.
Well-
I'm still pretty buff.
Your
Well-
strength, yes. Their ability to withstand air pressure moving at such machs, even being held by something of
Oh yeah, that's
Of your
right. I
strength.
almost forgot about G-force. Yeah.
Especially since I'm
And-
semi-solid right now.
I
Just-
regenerate.
He'd regenerate. Wilda, not so sure. Anyways, you said acrobatics there, DM?
yes.
Okay. If I roll good on this, it's gonna be like 15 backflips, 2 barrel roll.
Oh, mostly just to displace the air enough to where you can move to the areas you're going to without causing so much G-force
If
on your
Wilda could
friends.
throw up- If Wilda could be throw up, she would. Anyways.
Wilda is currently mostly water. G-forces don't affect them nearly as much.
Not nearly as much. However, she is currently plastered against me. I can't see! Wait a minute, I can't see! Slams into a building. Anyways. That is a 26, DM.
So that's at least 26 barrel rolls, 13 aviation rolls. Is it called aviation rolls?
Wilda, do you mind moving your hand out of my face? I can't see anything. Barrel rollings, just like weaving through 15 buildings. People are ducking against the ground at the windows.
Oh,
You reminded-
sorry.
You find the right pockets of wind to slow down enough to where it's you're not forcing the G-force to fly, but allowing the wings to just glide in the wind as you're carrying your friends over towards the small celebration happening on the outskirts of town. There, once more, you are welcomed by the vision of Brother Eagle, who seems to be getting his jig on with one of the more elderly ladies that of the tribe. Dancing, just he's pop locking it pretty well. Pop locking a thing in 2002? No, wait, no.
Google
Yeah,
search it. We've got Google.
Cha-Cha Slide's timeless, though. Cha-Cha Slide's timeless.
Yes, it is.
Ooh, mashed potato. Anyways.
Yes, exactly that. That is what you avoided for your friends, thankfully. As you land, a couple of the other Swahoni members come up wave at you, see that you brought friends, and offer them a couple of bowls of stew that's still available. Someone's passing out some delicious uh, bread buns.
I would say just unleavened bread. However,
But
Spencer is in no mood for food, although he's always in the mood for food. So he takes at least two pieces of bread, and while he's noshing on that, he tries to find Brother Eagle.
once more, you do see him more on the dance floor, uh, cha-cha sliding with a few of the other members of the tribe, specifically this one lovely lady
I
who you
will
know
go ahead.
who you know as Rosie Wins.
Rosie wins. Okay. I will calmly put down Ed and hold Wilda and wait.
And you'll wait.
I'm imagining it's not going to take like 6 hours to finish the dance, right?
No, of course not. He finishes dancing, and while Rosie is trying to sweet talk him, upon seeing you wave slightly, he begs her for a moment, kisses her hand, and shuffles over to you. Brother Spencer, back so soon. I wasn't expecting you to return.
Well, about that, my friend, gesturing to the will that he's holding, she she needs spiritual healing. Uh, her soul has a crack in it.
Brother Spencer, all our souls have cracks in them. I mean, everyone learns how to live life differently. Yeah. No real reason to see a spirit doctor.
No,
Pretty feathers.
it's a little more than that.
He
You
takes
see,
a moment to like look at you in the eye, starts
yeah,
picking up on what you're trying to say, uh, waves you, and your two friends to follow him around, so they're out of earshot. It all depends on if Wilda does follow or if Wilda wants to follow.
Wilda's in his arms.
Wilda's in his arms. It's whether or not Ed follows.
Edward, you can follow with them, but there is food being offered. There's some kids who want to play with like sport guns, some mud dolls, and a couple of
Absolutely
cars.
ignoring everything.
yeah,
Wilda
yes.
goes first. Yeah.
Wilda comes first.
So you follow him over towards more on the outskirts, around like one of the nearby tents set up for the gathering. As
Yes.
as it's quieter on this side, he looks over. So you really do mean that there is a real split on her soul?
He's going to. Is there a table to lay her on nearby?
No, unfortunately, there is not. Most of the tables are currently being used for festive gatherings, and
I,
being
I
seated at.
understand, but I'm looking at I'm looking at Ed right now. Can you make a table to lay her on?
Sure.
Casual
As
exploitation.
he looks around at the ground. Sort of
I don't.
decides.
I'm not sure if we have enough wood to make another table. I mean, we can always try to
And
find a nice.
there's a slight clap as he touches the stone underneath his feet.
With a simple clap and not really. I mean, you can roll for your alchemy as you want, but making a long enough table for it to lay on, sturdy enough, simple enough as is for you. You made multiple of them in your time with your workbenches and whatnot. So he immediately pops out of the ground. Brother Eagle takes a moment to register the miracle of random table expanding out from the dirt at a clap. Ah, Well gifted, I see.
Yeah, almost forgot to tell you. They have gifts, but not like mine.
Blessings from the spirits as well. That's amazing. Shocking. Forgive me. Not used to seeing it outside of the tribe.
It's all right. I understand. It's been happening more often, but as he lays Wilda out on the table, you see here where starts communicating as a medium, where her soul starts splitting, or at least there's a small crack. But that's what I thought at first. And then it started growing as he starts tracing around it, not on it, showing Brother Eagle exactly where the fault on her soul lies.
I see.
It tickles.
I mean, you screamed last time I touched it.
You touched the fizzer. You didn't just touch her soul.
This is true.
Easy. Even touching the projection of her soul can still be touching her soul. After that crack is as deep as it is. Let me contact our. Let me contact our real doctor. I know simple remedies and can help with healing the soul on a more day-to-day basis. This calls for something stronger. You see him reach in, pull out this patchwork of wood, patchwork, a bit of cotton out of his bag, some flint stone, bit of herbs. Then he pulls out a cell phone, taps a couple of numbers. Hello, Ezekiel? Yes. We're enjoying celebration too on this side. I was wondering if you were busy at the moment. Wonderful. Would you mind swinging by here? He looks over, and because I don't speak the language, I'm just going to like paraphrase it in this manner. He speaks his personal language, and while neither Wilda nor Edward, unless you guys specifically study Shoshone languages,
Nope.
Shoshone,
No.
then this sounds more like a bunch of breathy grunts with a couple of hard consonants like put in at random spots. Spencer, for you, with your time that you spent with them, you're able to pick up certain words like spirits, healing, grave, light, emergency.
I see.
At the end of this conversation, he hangs up the phone, puts everything back in his pack. Give him about 20 minutes, he'll be here. He's one of our better doctors, more in tune with the souls. I hear his daughter is actually working in the military. Which is quite impressive.
That's not good. Military bad.
We've tried to warn her many a times, but
They do bad things to people. Should be careful.
he laughs even harder. We know quite well, young miss. We thank you. But yes, yeah. Dr. Amonsday will be on their way here.
Okay. You go celebrate. It's hard talk.
Of course. Here, he places a small pot of water with a cup next to it. Please, drink what you can. Sun is still high. It's gonna get hot.
Okay.
A few minutes pass. Well, about 20 minutes pass. As you guys are waiting, flickering back over to Jace. Jace, you are currently surveying the town, surveying your base. Got a couple of calls from Follinger, the Follinger family. You were able to once more confirm everyone's gonna be fine. They'll be there.
Are you sure you haven't heard from Transient yet? Yeah, he's fine.
Listen, just make sure that he wears his croissants. Make sure that he brushes his hair.
Okay, and then hang up 5 seconds later. Did you remember to tell him to?
I forgot to mention that his hair gel is currently in the side bag that we have over in his room. We place it right outside the door. Make sure he stops by there to grab that. Also, please make sure that he doesn't eat too much.
Doesn't hang up at any of these. He just gives it a few seconds, and then they're like, "Oh, and also this," and he's just taking notes.
Hey, let
Notes
the poor boy breathe.
Notes that the teenager is simply going to ignore.
I can't promise how many of these he'll listen to, but I am taking notes on as much of this as you're telling me.
Remember, Transient. Remember, Edward. Your parents are very, very much. Well, they worry a lot.
Amongst all that, you do happen to get a physical knock on the door.
In my lab?
Of the compound above your lab.
Jace will hover out and have Rockin' Prime return, hover out in his wheelchair, have Rockin' Prime float up, close the hatch, go to the door, pop the door open, and peek his head out. Yes?
Standing there happens to be Ramon of the Morality Brigade, as well as one of the nearby officers. Oh,
Officer.
Jace. Yes, Officer Streisand.
Hi. What's going on?
Double checking as we were told that. Forgive me, Jace. I'm still trying to reel in about seeing you just popping through the doors like it's willy nilly. Officer Streisand here was double checking because he heard, while there is confirmation that the building here has been bought, seeing that it's still somewhat derelict, they were just double checking to see if anyone was here, especially after getting reports of people of seeing a vehicle pop in and out.
Yes, there are people here. I can let you in if you'd like. It's taking a while to refurbish the inside. We're still trying to figure out the basis of what we're going to run out of this building at the moment. And he will open the door and let them in. Obviously, the lab is currently sealed off and he's got it locked down, but he's basically showing them around the interior, showing how they are cleaning up the inside first, and they're going to worry about the exterior when it comes time to worry about the exterior.
There's a single pizza dispenser. It's been recently used.
It is very clear that the interior is being quite well taken care of, even if the exterior doesn't look great.
All right, go ahead and give me 2 deception checks.
Is it a deception check?
Oh boy.
When he's being truthful.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Then
You might not be able to sneak it past me.
The only-
You sure as hell can't sneak
presence.
it
Give me
past him.
2 presence checks. Then
Oh, no.
Oof.
just to
Okay.
keep their attention so they don't get too snoopy.
They don't have a warrant, so they don't have a reason to.
Yeah. Jace
Reasons
can
are true.
revoke their shit immediate or ASAP if he wants.
I mean, the lab is completely hidden and locked down. They can't get into it anyways. He's just more worried about them wandering off to an area he hasn't cleaned up yet and getting tetanus.
Did he,
So far, so
did
good.
he convince them to get tetanus?
So far, so
No.
good.
Oh
Yes.
my god!
Let's see how the second one makes that first one so much worse. Okay, no, he
Uh,
did great.
I would like to point out you get a +5 on the second one, so that's
Jace did
actually a
fucking
19.
stupendous.
Oh wow, yeah, it is still slightly run down. Oh, yeah. Please be careful, officer. Yeah, he's right. That is really
Yeah,
broken down.
I've been doing my best to get it all cleaned up. The central area here, as you can see, we've done a pretty good job cleaning it up. I did have a question though. I'm not sure if this is something you would have on your person, but what is the city code ordinance we need to follow in order to get rid of all of this old, like, he vaguely gestures at all of the abandoned, like, arcade machines and electronics and stuff that is clearly haphazardous and potentially dangerous, like this over here, and he will roll his wheelchair over and gesture to one of the this is 2002. They've still got the fucking terrible animatronics.
I really love the idea.
What would we need to do to safely get rid of these things? He vaguely gestures at the giant animatronic mouse that's got, like, the felt coming off.
It probably has a few scratches from Spencer pawing at it.
Yes, with a couple of eyes looking one way. That yeah. Actually, let me write down a number real quick. I know a few people who can come by within the week. As for ordinance, normally if you're planning on opening it, do within 3 weeks of opening day prior. But if it's still, seeing as you still have condemned and your fence is still up, you have anywhere between 6 months to a year before a real inspection, town inspection comes back over to review how if this building is still liable for use or needs to be condemned fully by the city.
How wild would it be if there was an actual city ordinance worker in the chat watching this video and going, "That's not right. You see, it's clearly."
Please, by all means, let them correct me. I would
Uh,
appreciate the corrections.
Keep in mind, this isn't live. This is just recording.
I know.
You say that, but we've still somehow gotten viewers, apparently.
Fair.
People I wasn't expecting to say, "Hey, you run a campaign." Have pointed out, "Hey, I run a campaign." Which, by the way, hi guys. But yeah,
But yeah. Jace basically just goes over all the stuff they need to take care of to get this building back in track, so that it doesn't have to worry about being condemned, and how to dispose of all these old broken down machine parts, especially since, again, this is 2002. I'm pretty sure a lot of the equipment here probably isn't environmentally compliant anymore, even by 2002 standards.
oh yeah, no,
No shot.
but you still have time. Yeah. Once more, call the number. That'll get you the town scrapper. He'll come by real quick to help you with this.
Is that a xenon gas machine? Anyways, officer.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't understand why they would put that in a restaurant, and I'm not sure how to safely get rid of it either. It's not exactly something you call the garbage men to come get, is it?
No. Let me give you this number. This one is for the town chemical workers. At least one of them. There's 3 competing in this town. I cannot guarantee which one will give you a better deal. You'll have to speak with all of them. They change on the season. I swear to you.
Strangely enough, one of the local chemical companies has lost their main building, so the other 2 are really swimming in business right now. You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
Sorry, what happened to their building?
just describes the collapsed building from like earlier this morning.
That sounds terrible. Was anybody hurt?
Oh yeah, I mean, they shut off the
Thankfully-
fire alarms and disabled the security systems, and there was a lot of OSHA violations reported simultaneously by some unknown source.
Yeah, we're still
that sounds really bad.
Yeah, so just probably don't go to the mining facilities, processing plants while they are helpful to the city. They're going to be a bit handicapped for probably 2 years. So go ahead and give this guy a call as he hands you a different number.
All right, and he will take that number, he will look it over, and then he will stick it in his wallet so he can look for it later. And then he's going to pause for a moment and jokingly say, "Well, I thank you for the warning about the mining facility. I don't really think I have to worry about there. They're not exactly the most accessible location," he says, vaguely gesturing to the chair.
Handicap jokes.
He did say the word.
Now look, I would find it very funny if Jace used the word handy capable.
Right. The officer starts stumbling over his words. Ramon picks up.
No, don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm used to the jokes. I make them myself. It's good to cope. You don't have to feel bad about it.
It's good to cope. Lost my legs. Still miss them. Anyways.
Oh, thank God. I thought I was gonna get too tripped up on that. Shit.
No, it's fine, man. It's totally fine, and you're good. You don't have to worry about it. I make those kind of jokes all the time.
Not sure the company has a leg to stand on.
Officer Streisand looks careful over at Ramon, who, for the teenager that he is glaring daggers at this officer. Yeah, no, definitely. Don't worry, we'll make sure to start off with the right foot, right path on this investigation. Ain't that right, young lad? Attempts to give Ramon a punch. Ramon sidesteps.
Jason will offer to give the officer a handshake before he needs to go.
I'll give you a pass on that one, Chief, but
the officer shakes your hand. They both thank you for the time being, for giving the quick explanation, showing them around.
So is Ramon here in guise as Morality Brigade, or is he just accompanying a police officer for no reason?
No, he is in Morality Brigade, guys. From what you can tell with your passive insight, let me double check that because I do believe it's.
Let's see if that's one of my stupid stats, real quick.
I think it was.
Yes. It's one of those top 2 stupid stats that I rarely use.
Yes. So your passive insight already picks up that Ramon has already been through 3, at least a good few other jobs with this officer, and his eyes is already. This is already a long day for since it's only 12:30, pushing 1 at the current moment. No, sorry, 11:30, pushing 12. My apologies. 11:30, pushing 12.
Side note, I figured out what Jace is going to do as a cover for this that will absolutely make sure that this place is never suspected of jack shit. Would you like to know what that is?
What is it?
It's 2002. It's not the heyday of it quite yet. It's still getting into the better part of its development. I think Jace is going to take all these arcade machines. He's going to refurbish them, maybe get a couple new ones and set them up. And he's going to turn this into a little video game store.
My God, that's amazing. Spencer would love you forever.
And it will make sense for teenagers to be coming and going from this place regularly, because obviously they're here for the video games and no one's going to question it.
So we're turning this into an arcade.
Not a full-on arcade. It's a video game store, and then he'll have the little arcade machines around for people who come in on occasion. It's not going to be competing with the full-time arcade or anything.
Big
And here I
Jason,
was about to
big
go
gamer.
World 1 of 3. Finally, award the opponent. Our battles will be legendary.
Watches as all their machines are breaking down as Transient just goes through accidentally. He breaks a switch here, Crosswire is a thing there.
I really love
I
the
just
idea.
fixed
It's
this
just
machine. I just replaced this button here, and I come back and it's not even moving. It's like it's part of plastic now.
children.
It is part of the plastic now. When did it fry?
It just clicked for me how fantastic a cover this could be. Because
if we're working with the Morality Brigade, we could absolutely use the video game store as cover under the pretense of them buying video games and video game equipment to give the Morality Brigade equipment to take back to their base. Not to mention, all the teenagers who have been affected by the slag will come in here for video games, and we can keep track of all of them.
I really love the idea that Jace, whenever he mentions the Morality Brigade, is like, yeah, we can give them equipment so they don't keep getting it from just like fucking Dinklebird. It's like, Himmel.
It's
Yeah.
not even that. It's just like somebody else is explaining, yeah, we help get the Morality Brigade the equipment they need, so they don't have to get it from. He pauses, shudders, looks over his shoulder. Jace is sitting behind the counter fixing something, making dead eye contact with them.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about that, but
Grandpa's ashes are now part of the car.
I do so very also love the idea that because of this setup, it would also create the illusion that Jace, as this crippled kid, who as far as anyone knows, because he's still cut off from his parents at this point, and he's just staying with the, I think it's the Follingers, right?
Yep, the Follingers.
Resident
And he's
Cat
just staying
person.
with the Follingers. It would seem like this crippled kid has pulled his ass up by his bootstraps to the best of ability and is running a somewhat successful business on his own, using his knowledge of technology to his benefit. And it would probably seem like a really inspirational community thing. And Jace is like, yep, that's definitely what's happening here.
Oh, it's absolutely what's happening. Anyways, let me introduce you to one of my friends. He's a little eccentric, and he's not quite from around here. His name's Alias.
No. Let me introduce you to one of my friends. He's a little eccentric, and he's not quite the most well versed in human interaction. And it looks like he's going to reach for Spencer, but he reaches past Spencer and puts a hand on Transient.
Spencer's like, "Hi, nice to meet you. This is my friend Transient. He's not good at talking to people."
I will murder you and all your family.
That's his way of saying he loves you.
He says that to everyone except Wilda. Everyone except Wilda.
I just love
And
the idea.
cameras
Spencer's
immediately
just like,
pan towards Wilda. Wilda, as in Wilda Thrussell, as in the daughter of the Thrussell man who runs the best strip club in this joint.
listen, if you've heard of the strip club, you're not allowed in the store.
Please leave.
I
Oh,
really genuinely love the idea. It's like, oh, he doesn't really want to kill you. That's just his way of saying he likes you. I am going to murder you in your sleep, one by one.
So, Jace, I've noticed that you've employed a lot of your friends at the video game store. How's it going? What all do they do? Well, Spencer's really good at advertising. He likes to talk about video games. He likes to hang out with the others. He spreads the word about things. Wilda's really good at helping out at the front counter, and I, of course, do all the money work. I work on all the machines. Ed is not Ed. I'm trying to. Dahlia is always really quick to jump to showing people how to play when they have issues with things or helping people figure things out. And what about Ed? What does Ed do? Oh, he's security. Security? He's security.
right.
Oh,
I
man.
also moonlight as the guy that fixes things.
Love the idea. I want a refund on my game. Why did you talk to Ed? He's really good with refunds. Ed walks in. I would love to talk about refunds.
I love the idea that Ed is the guy they have show up wearing sunglasses and a mysterious trench coat to fix one of the arcade machines to start rumors that draw in more teenagers.
Oh God. So
Spencer's just like, there's this guy out in the back, and he's super cool. He can turn video games into better video games.
nice. So after you get get Ramon and the officer to head back out, you go back onto your standby, double checking everything. We flicker back over to Wilda, Edward, and Spencer as Brother Eagle comes back around with another gentleman beside him. So you finish.
Go ahead.
Wilda definitely called Ed over to come hold her hand again.
Yeah, he's doing so.
As Brother Eagle approaches with his new friend introduces himself. Good afternoon. I am Dr. Amazday, but feel free to call me Ezekiel for today. I take it this is our patient here.
Yes. My name is Spencer, Mister Brother Ezekiel. Doctor.
It's all right, brother Spencer. I've heard a good amount from you about you from Jorge here. He knows me as Eagle. Sorry about that, brother Eagle. Now,
Sorry.
go ahead.
I genuinely thought that for half a second he was like, "Oh yes, Brother Eagle." You can. I call him Jorge though. I'm like, "Oh my god." That's what I thought you said. I'm like, "There's no way he said that."
Well, sticking with it now.
Sticking with it now.
Spencer hasn't looked
Brother
too closely
Jorge, please tell me about your
Transient
exploit.
Soul, has he?
No, he has not yet.
No,
All but the things he would see.
I mean, I can stare at it right now.
Yeah, you certainly can.
DM, I am staring in the transient. So like, yeah, the patient's right here. Glances over at transient just to make sure he's not also going to be a patient.
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Cool, horror, man-made horrors beyond my comprehension. Anyways, let me just perception check. You said
Yes.
okay. That's gonna be a 1d20 plus. No, that's the wrong form for that. It's not a plus. Okay, it's gonna be a +3, and I am using a Benny.
Was it a nat one?
Yes, it wasn't that one.
I want to tell you no. I want to say no, but go ahead. Use your Benny.
I'm using my Benny. I'm being heroic here. I need
His
to make
last Benny.
sure that last Benny. I know. Come on, big money. Oh, big money! No whammies.
So you start looking at Transient Soul, and at first you're starting to see some form of it start to pop up before a very well and hearty white soul pops in front of it as Brother Ezekiel steps forward in front of you. So you have to like step around and get a better look. And in your new perspective, you're able to see Transient Soul twofold, like conjoined orbs at the very center, one red, one white, or blue. Transient, what color would you actually shade your soul separate from your other soul?
So when you look at his soul, you see a flicker of blue, and then the soul sort of kaleidoscopes. It's not all one.
Ooh, pretty colors.
And as you actually get a closer view of it, every single one of the colors seems to be a separate piece.
Like a patchwork of souls making up
Kaleidoscope.
the kaleidoscope of his soul. And then hiding
God.
behind that would be a red soul, very pristinely, very primal, turns, but continuously tries to hide from view. Like it's constantly being eclipsed by the kaleidoscope soul.
Spencer is staring for half a second, maybe half a few seconds, but at that he's just gonna, yeah, the patients are right here. Gestures gestures to Ed too.
Well, that is curious. I believe your friend with the carving here is in more need.
Yes, it just when you're finished, he's staring at the kaleidoscope for half a second. Let's
So, Edward, you're noticing that Spencer is staring at your lower rib quite a bit now that he's gotten closer.
yeah, I'm stammering because that's in character for Spencer. He's just like, pretty colors need to keep focus. Pretty colors need to keep focus.
Yeah. He sort of puts his hand over the spot.
Right.
Put your
Just-
hand over the spot. He can still see your kaleidoscope soul.
You can still
You
see
just-
the kaleidoscope. And then he snaps out of it and goes, "That soul might need some looking at too once we're done with my good friend and owner Wilda."
And what a response to that?
They gave me good stuff.
I see.
Yeah, give her a root beer float.
Of sorts.
Is that what they're calling it these days? Well, unfortunately, I would have to call this the Brussels sprouts to that ice cream float, as he makes you smell something very bitter that somehow makes you a bit more cognitive. You're still somewhat sluggish, but you're more cognitive from the smelling salts. At least from his brand of smelling salts.
Oh. Oh. Mm.
Do feel bad for pulling you out from a relaxed state, but I believe for this next part, I do need you a bit more coherent.
Okay.
Now, tell me, young miss, what do you know of how souls are made?
I know how people are made. I don't know how souls are made.
You still won't tell me that.
Well, seeing as we don't, do you have anywhere to go for the next hour?
Not really. We have a thing to go to in like 5
6.
hours.
5 to 6.
And then we'll have
Well,
plenty of
Mom
time.
wants pictures, so 5 hours.
I'm sure by the time we're done, you'll be more ready to take pictures before then.
Okay.
So, you know how people are made, that's good. Don't know how souls are made, that's fine. What do you know of gods? And from here, we will stop for the session. And we'll pick this back up 2 weeks from now. I do hope everyone here was able to have a little bit more jovial time. Try to make it a bit more even, popcorn it around.
Oh yeah.
Do stop back by where we hopefully are able to bring Dahlia back into the fold again. And see you all in 2 weeks. Thank you for joining here at Power Gold. Master Knot. See y'all next time.
Bye.
Have a beautiful time.
Cats do not work as mouse pads.
No, no, they do not. Inject cat